Hey, what's up gamers? You have Tiger Chainsaw here, and today I am showcasing the top 10 best Master System games. My opinion is right, yours is wrong. This is set in stone. These are the, bar none, top 10 best Master System games. Well, maybe. This opinion that I have generated is from my own experience playing these games, and I've mixed in some of the community's insights on these games. And these are the 10 best Master System games that I can come up with. These don't mean that these are my favorite games. That's going to be a video that you will be seeing shortly, but these are the best ones. And so if this is your first time on my channel, or if you just haven't yet, make sure you hit that sub button because I have so much Sega Master System content on my channel, ranging from reviews and countdowns. You're not going to want to miss any of those videos. Okay, let's get into the top 10 best Master System games of all time. Kicking this list off is probably the most underrated Master System game of all time, but it is also one of the best, and that's going to be Zillian. Now, what makes Zillian one of the best games on this console? First, here's a little fun fact. It is based off an anime, and the anime is actually pretty good, but it takes that story and puts it into a game which was very unique at the time. Zillian is very reminiscent of Mission Impossible, but it takes everything good about that game and refines it and makes it way better. So in Zillian, you can control 3 different characters. You are going to have to rescue 2 of them, but they are all upgradable. And the point of this game is to go down into a fortress and blow it up. But to do this, you're gonna have to solve puzzles in each room. And it's not really puzzles like you're moving things, it's you have to get the code and input it into the computer. This was so futuristic for the time, and you know, the ending is a little bit difficult, but overall, you have the music, you have interchangeable characters, you have gameplay that makes you think on how to solve this room, how to get past the lasers and the defense to get these codes. And overall, it makes a really awesome experience that is very unique for its era. This is a awesome Master System game, and it is the 10th best Master System game on the console. Zillian is one that you guys need to seek out and play. When you think back on early Master System games that were incredible, that were a reason to buy the Master System, you probably think of Alex Kidd in Miracle World. Sega has a very interesting history with mascots. First, they were trying to get Opa Opa to be their mascot over in Japan, and then over in North America, they were kind of pushing Alex Kidd to be their mascot, to be their Mario. And Alex Kidd in Miracle World kicked off the series in a really great manner. The platforming is very satisfying, and there's a lot of cool gadgets in this game, but an interesting feature in this game is the boss fights. They are rock, paper, scissor mechanics, and so you kind of need some luck on your side to progress through this game, but the platforming is top notch. It's really well done, and the graphics pop. The colors are really vibrant in this game, and this was just an early showcase of what made the Master System so special, and guess what? It holds up today. Alex Kidd in Miracle World is a must-own, it's a must-play, and it is one of the best Master System games. How can you have any Sega list without including the most famous mascot in it. That is why I'm including Sonic the Hedgehog on this list of the top 10 best Master System games. Sonic the Hedgehog, and you can also include the sequel, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, came out for the Master System, and in fact, there are 6 Sonic games on the Master System, but for this one, I'm just gonna focus on the first one because that is the best game in the series, at least on the 8-bit console. So what's really cool about this version of Sonic the Hedgehog is that a lot of the gameplay is very similar to the Genesis counterpart, but there are entirely new levels. And when I discovered this, I knew I had to get it into my collection. This wasn't just a toned down Sonic the Hedgehog. It was unique. It has different boss fights. The story is very much the same, but there's different levels and the gameplay is just a little bit different. But it also still goes fast. And if you're Sonic, you gotta go fast. And this is why Sonic the Hedgehog on the Master System is one of the best games, because it takes the most famous Sega mascot and puts him into 8-bit platforming action. And it does it really great. So Sonic the Hedgehog is my number 8 best Master System game of all time. Ninjas were all the rave in the 80s and early 90s, and that got a lot of video games made over the theme of ninjas, and that is why I'm including Shinobi on this list of top 10 best Master System games. So you guys know that I always harp on boss fights. Shinobi is a wonderful showcase of boss fights. They are all unique, they are all challenging, they are all different, and between the boss fights, you have really satisfying platforming and action where you need to save children, and it creates a really satisfying experience for Master System owners. Shinobi isn't the best game, but it is the best ninja game on the Master System. And there were a lot of ninja games in the 80s and 90s, but Shinobi on the Master System is one of the best. It's challenging, don't get me wrong, it can be very difficult, but it's also very satisfying once you get past a boss. And so Shinobi makes this list as one of the 10 best Master System games. Okay, pal friends, this entry into my 10 best Master System games is just for you. I'm picking Asteris to be on this list. Do I know anything about the cartoon or the comic of Asteris? Nope, and I don't have to enjoy this game. Asteris is one of the best platformers on the Master System. I don't know any of the lore about this comic, but it seems to be extremely popular in Europe, and so many of my pal friends were telling me Asteris is a must play, it's a must own, and so I dabbled in it, and I was pretty blown away by how good this game was. It is very satisfying through the beginning to the end. Asteris is a really fun game because you can switch between Obelix and Asterix, and they each have certain features about them that help you progress through the levels. It's really well done, and when big IPs get made into video games, you can always kind of get nervous because you don't want the video game to ruin it, but Asterix gets its fair shake in the video game world. In fact, it is one of the best games on the Master System. So if you love Asterix, if you love platforming, this is a must own. This is one of the best Master System games. Platformers were all the rage in the 80s and early 90s, and so was Disney. And that is why Mickey Mouse Castle of Illusion is going to be included in this list of the best Master System games. There was a time when Disney was untouchable. They would continue to crank out amazing video games, and Castle of Illusion on the Master System was one of them. It is very similar to the Genesis counterpart, but just for the Master System. And guess what? It is as equally amazing. It is a wonderful experience, and Mickey Mouse controls great. The animation and the controls are both really smooth, and overall the platforming is just perfect. It has one of the best difficulty curves where it holds your hand at the beginning, it kind of shows you what to do, and then after that it kind of lets you go, and the levels increase in difficulty just the way they should in a video game, and each time you beat a level, it's going to be a little bit more challenging, but you're going to be a better player from your previous experience on the last level. This progression in Castle of Illusion is super satisfying, and Mickey Mouse was the king back then, and I can see why. Castle of Illusion is one of the best Master System games, and it's one of the best platformers on this console. You know what I miss about the 80s and the 90s? Companies stealing from each other. Because Sega totally copied The Legend of Zelda with Golden Axe Warrior. But guess what? It is one of the best games on the console. Taking place within the Golden Axe universe, you are taking down Death Adder, but this time it is not a beat 'em up or a hack and slash. This is going to be a unique top-down adventure just like The Legend of Zelda on the NES. Now this is a pricey game if you want to get it into your collection physically, but in my opinion, it's worth it. There's a lot of incredible boss fights. The dungeons are really fun to make your way through. There's tons of secrets. There's NPCs to talk to. And when you find one of the 7 crystals, well, it can't help but put a smile on your face. Golden Axe Warrior is one of the few RPGs on the system, and it's definitely more of a action RPG, but it's phenomenal. It's one of the best, and that is why this is included on my list of top 10 best Master System games. Golden Axe Warrior gives the player action, RPG elements, dungeon crawling, boss fights, and a fun story. And so you take all of that and you combine it and you get a phenomenal game that's one of the best on the Master System. This next game combines just about everything in a video game to make a near perfect shoot 'em up, and that's going to be RType. RType was ported to the Master System, and it is one of the best ports to this console. First, I have to talk about the soundtrack. It is so good. I love listening to this soundtrack, and it gets you in the mood to kill the Bido Empire. You're gonna be in your R9, and you're gonna be picking up power-ups. It's got a mounted cannon that can detach, and you can reattach it to the back of your ship or the front of your ship. There's various weapons for you to use, and there's even a secret level. But to me, I think the best thing about RType, besides the gorgeous backgrounds, is the amazing boss fights. These boss fights are so cool to see. You see that first boss scrolling across the screen with his tail waving at you? It blew my mind seeing this, and it just gets better and better from there. But this is a very tough game. This is a game where the developers took a 30-minute game and they stretched it into a 2-hour game, because you're gonna have to memorize enemy patterns, you're gonna have to figure out ways to beat the bosses, and it's a tough game, but it's so satisfying to beat it, and it is the best shoot 'em up on the Sega Master System, and that is why this is one of the best games on the console. We got 2 spots left for my top 10 best Master System games. Coming in at number 2 is perhaps the greatest JRPG of its time. I'm talking about Phantasy Star. Phantasy Star is a sci-fi adventure from start to finish. You explore 3 different planets on your way to destroying King Lassic and his evil grip on the galaxy. But be warned, he is more than meets the eye. But on your journey, you are going to take control of Alice, and right at the beginning, you see these cutscenes. You see these emotional cutscenes. You see her brother dying. You see her take up a weapon in his honor, and she has to avenge his death and take down King Lassic and his empire. Once you leave the initial town, you're going to be meeting other characters that will join your party, and all of them have pros and cons. They all have personalities, which is just really cool to see back then. And speaking of seeing back then, you get to do first-person dungeons. How crazy is that? I can only imagine being alive back then and playing this game and seeing these dungeons come onto my screen along with the animated enemies, the soundtrack. Everything about this game is near perfect for a JRPG of that era. There's a reason why this game is so hailed across the community. Phantasy Star is an adventure like none other on this console, and yeah, it can be a little bit grindy, but that's just JRPGs back then. But the overall adventure that you take across 3 planets is simply incredible, and it's worth the time to put into that game, which is why Phantasy Star is the number 2 best game on the Master System. The number 1 game for the Master System. Honestly, I don't think this is a very controversial choice of mine. I'm picking Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap. Wonder Boy 3 built off of Wonder Boy in Monster Land. In fact, it picks up right after the game ends. So I really like that there's a continuum of this series, but it improves the graphics. It improves the boss fights. It makes it so you go through this huge world as different characters. You're going to be playing as a lion man, a mouse man, a piranha man, a lizard man, a hawk man, and all of them have unique powers. You have to use all of them to beat this game. When you are one of these characters, you will have access to another part of this world. And the fun of this game is discovering how these characters can use their powers to get to those worlds. So for example, if you're Piranha Man, you can go to the underwater world and fight the Pirate King. If you are the Hawkman, you can fly up into the Sky Castle and take on that boss, and so forth. Wonder Boy 3 has an incredible soundtrack. The controls are top-notch. You are not going to find a better game on the Master System with controls, and the graphics really pop with the colors. But overall, this game gives the most satisfaction for those who seek adventure. And I think a lot of gamers seek adventure, which is why Wonder Boy 3 is the best game on the Sega Master System. It is an adventure from start to finish in which you experience 5 different characters and their powers, incredible boss fights, really intriguing levels that are filled with wonder and color, and really neat enemies that you have to defeat. And also, you get to level up in this game. There's some RPG mechanics in this as far as upgrading your equipment, getting some superpowers. All of it makes this game so much fun. And that is why Wonder Boy 3 is bar none the best game on the Sega Master System. Like I said, this list of the best Master System games is written in stone. I'm right, you guys are wrong. Or, so I think. We don't have to agree, but what I want from you guys is if there's a game that you think belongs in the top 10 best Master System games, then drop me a comment below telling me about it. I'm not telling you to tell me your favorite game because this list is not my favorite games for the Master System. These are just the games that I think are the best. So while you're there, typing away your comment, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel to watch plenty of Sega Master System content, including an upcoming video where I do tell you guys my favorite Master System games. Happy gaming, thanks for watching, and make sure you play a video game today.